Oh, it's me again, and I was just looking at what I have to do today. Fix the PC. I'll do that one later. Contemplate existence. Got that one down. And play that dumb Roblox game, oh for goodness sake.
Roblox.
No.
It's been around since the glory days of web games and has become one of the most profitable and influential platforms in gaming. For better or for worse. However absurd the platform itself is, the games typically reflect that weirdness with strange simulators and even weirder popular games.
It's amazing how broken you can make a game. I just climbed a wall by jumping into it. Look at this. You seeing this? You seen? I'm clipped into this wall. This wall's mine. You seen? This wall is mine.
But while the front page shows you the average piece of 9-year-old trash, shush, I'll talk about that some other time, there are the proverbial diamonds in the rough. One of these is Robot64, a 3D platformer in a similar style to Mario 64, thus the name.
What a coinkydink!
It also shares that iconic polygonal art style, and can I just say that this makes me infinitely more happy than your average, look I'm so realistic shooter game. No, that one doesn't count.
What the?
Alert. The enemy has taken our intelligence.
Sentry going up!
But beyond that, Robot64 is just a surprisingly good game. The main premise is that, according to Dr. Smar, we need to destroy the sun by collecting ice cream or we will all die. Cool. The creator seems to have a pretty good sense of humor because in the opening tutorial he placed a secret exit and dialogue spiel about speedrunners. And if you get on top of the observatory, you help this sign up by flinging him into space.
So long, Bowser!
As is usual, I'm gonna look at the controls first. And while they work fine on the computer, I don't have a console capable of running Roblox. And at that point, why would I?
There's your average jump, crouch, long jump, which goes even further than the Mario one, backflip, side flip, and dive. The nuances come with the basic spin attack, which doubles as a gliding tool as well as a height extender in some situations. And there's also a double jump, but that's kind of important. All these aspects combined let you pull off some crazy jumps, and it is one of my favorite movesets to screw around with. The 3 power-ups in the game are level specific, but I'll give the rundown for each. Jetpack. It glides, you need to not take drastic movements or you'll be stuck in drastic movement until you stop. Skateboard. You want to go fast, avoid lava, and use a broken point system? Flamethrower.
House fires. It's more common than you think.
The very first thing you interact with besides the tutorial is the hub area, the observatory. It functions, but it ain't no Peach's castle. This is definitely not helped by the far smaller level selection compared to Mario 64, with only 7 main levels and miscellaneous ice cream spread throughout this observatory. Whereas Mario 64 had 18 if you count the Bowser levels. I'll get to these levels in a bit, but first we see this blue bordered menace off to the right. No, not that one. This one, the level creator. The only reason it's broken is because the sharing levels part doesn't work, which is really sad because there used to be some really cool stuff when it did work. But now it is permanently broken, which is a little sad, but it isn't the end of the world. The creator itself does still work, but it is a 3D game, so this isn't going to be as intuitive as Mario Home Depot Construction 63. The other small building is locked behind DLC, because gosh darn it, we have to make money somehow.
It's a shame I'm not willing to give any of my money to Roblox, otherwise we might have some sort of bonus section here. Just wasted potential if you ask me. Beep boop.
Now what in the name of the Sega Master System do you want?
Give battery, get Robux.
Seems sketchy, but it's not like a couple of double A's is gonna end the world, so... Here.
Thank you, foolish human. Enjoy Roblox while you can. Well, that was weird.
So here we have 2 extra stages that are based around incredibly simple concepts compared to the other levels and have fewer missions to complete. First of which is Buzz Factory. This level asks, what happens when you take tick-tock clock and throw a bunch of bees in it? Similar to said clock, this area is a nightmare if you haven't gotten used to the game's control set. There are moving platforms everywhere and the bees are about as friendly as a bob-omb. Thankfully, you can cheese the B-boss battle by just ground pounding once you're high enough in the air. This is way too easy to pull off, and it makes you wonder. The other level is the only stage to use the flamethrower power-up besides the hub world, and this is the most mediocre level in the game. We'll get to Neo City. The thing about this is that a good half of the ice cream locations are complete bullcrap. Like, this one is literally named How Was I Supposed to Find This? This one on top of the giant job? You need to be holding M1 and no other keys to ascend upwards. This does not work on any other surface and has absolutely no hints whatsoever. And this one doesn't even require the power-up like it's supposed to. All in all, if you had some Bobucks flying around, go ahead. If you have none and actively need to give Roblox more of your money, don't!
Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, the levels!
The first main level is Turtle Tops, mountains on a flying tortoise. This level is a good introduction to most of the game's basic concepts, portals to sub-areas, races with the rabbit, and the lighthouse mission. There's a good bit of platforming, much of which can be skipped with the jetpack, spread throughout, though none of it is particularly punishing should you fall. There is no fall damage or gaping pits, just chilling anywhere, so go crazy. The level culminates in the lighthouse mission, where you must collect 10 fireflies spread around the map and redeliver them to the lighthouse. These things are spread in every nook and cranny throughout Turtle Tops and act similar to red coins, forcing the player to explore the level more thoroughly and learn the nuances of it. Technically there are the eggs, but those are in a sub-area in most levels. While the level design isn't as top tier and condensed as Mario 64, Robot64 blesses us with some much needed comedy. Like this sign that refuses to believe there's a tree growing on his back, or this rabbit that spews some high nonsense about snowballs in July.
I don't know what he was smoking, but stop it. Get some out.
The second stage is Naughty's Resort, and somebody needs to background check the builders of this pathway, cause holy cow, they were on something too. These surfboard-faced people populate the shore, and honestly, they just make me wonder if the creator is okay. One of them will reward you if you can abuse the skateboard system fast enough, and yeah, you can get 10 times more than what he asks in half the time. These dweeboid guards are pretty easy to avoid, but if you do get caught, you lose health and get sent back to the checkpoint as if you had fallen off a cliff. They are one of very few enemies in the game, along with these bushes. They die in water, and that's about it. There's a small reference to another decent Roblox game, Cube Cavern, right here, but that's a topic I don't want to talk about right now. You can get on top of the roof if you are absolutely cracked at the game like I am, but there's a guy just chilling up here. I don't think he's okay either. Going inside the resort, you have 4 ice creams available to you. The Black Hole, the Maze, the Chompin' Dudes, and Naughty. Naughty's boss fight is the most normal boss in the game. No gimmicks or power-ups, just plain hitting at the right time. There's a reference to Cleaning Simulator in this corner, and I guess this game likes referencing other decent Roblox games. Altogether, Naughty's Resort is a very good stage and is one of the best in my opinion.
I'm Magician Red and this wall will be dead! Yeah!
The second set of levels starts off with the Heckland, which is literally just heck. The first mission you can go for is quite obvious. Beat Eagle Job and do a pulp. The other missions are fairly average. Platforming, race to the top, sub-areas, and eggs. Instead of the lighthouse, there are the eggs spread around this level, and they are far harder to find due to the level's lighting not helping the extremely angular architecture. Also scubas. I don't know what this tan-colored monkey is doing here, but I'll take it. There's a boss fight in this stage too, but you'll need to get all the way over there, and there's only one way to do that. Anyway, upon reaching the tower, you meet the Hecklord. He isn't happy that you want the sun gone and brings up some valid points. Rather than argue, Bebo the robot just calls him Stinky. Fight! This one requires to use the skateboard to dodge these meteor lava ball things, and after defeat, it gives you another way to break the skateboard point system.
You freaking kidding me?
This next level is a little carbonated, so I hope nothing bad happens when I open it.
Candy Aquarium is the government-mandated water level, and boy, it does not feel like it. You move much faster in water compared to even on land, and most of the challenge areas don't feel like a pain to complete. Okay, there is one that's a pain to find out of the sheer absurdity of the level's color palette. The red ground, purple filter from the soda, and geometry over here hide this tiny portal very well. It took me forever to find it way back when, and man, it still was not easy to remember now. This level also introduces one of the only other enemies in the game, the Hermit Gloobies. They're more of a threat because their hitboxes look very strange for some reason. A few other challenges, and the level is done.
Anyhow, there are 2 ice creams in the observatory right across from each other, and then the final set of levels reveals themselves. I know, this game is short!
The first of these is New Neo City, and boy howdy, this is the worst level in the game. Not from difficulty or anything, but just the amount of why am I here syndrome it ends up causing. It reuses the lighthouse and jetpack from the first level in exactly the same ways, on top of having to race to the top and a few freebie ice creams as well. Like, come on, that was just sitting there. This is the late game! The only hard part is the Datascape sub-level where you are restricted to only one jump. There are a total of 3 sub-areas that do this, and man, they are awful because they fry the muscle memory in your fingers about as much as Sunshine's floodless levels. Also, this level has about 3 textures in total, so it ends up feeling very last-minute reusable gimmicks kind of level, making it my least favorite by far.
And now we have Honey, I Shrunk the Kids in the bedroom this time.
Tiny huge bedroom. This level is fairly simple with a few gimmicks and toy soldiers that want a 6-sided die for some reason. There's this computer where anything you type in as the password works. Great security, everyone, you're doing great. But the main thing you should be worried about in this area is this single, solitary sub-level. This is one of those other dead escape areas, and it is as difficult for all the reasons the other one was. Gosh darn, these things are annoying. Also, this level requires you to do homework. 0 out of 10.
The final level is basically the moon. However, there are no challenges about it being on the moon. It's more of a hub world for 7 sub-areas and the final boss. Like my closet.
The 6 sub-levels, themed around the previous levels, are all fine and dandy, minus Dead Escape, because those are the worst, but the real challenge comes from the final home run. If you can't consistently get on top of the observatory, this one is not for you. These jumps are the most difficult in the game, or just a straight throwback to classic Roblox hobbies, because those are always so much fun. Upon completing it, it is just the most incredible feeling ever.
The dopamine released here is enough to fill my mug.
The final boss is an arcade shooter. Why? Because you can't jump on the sun and expect it to die. No, you have to use the moon to make your way through dozens of other stars and kill it by shooting ice creams at it. This section really could have used less time in the actual fight and more time in the oven. I had to go to the bathroom right here, and somehow I survived until I got back because of this thing's pathetic aim. The sun itself is pretty easy too. I found there's a little credit secrets up here for the cosmetics hiding in the pay-to-wear Duncan's can system, so that's nice. However, it glitched out the credits music when I went back, so I had to do it all again.
And that's Robot64, a polygonal diamond in the dumpster fire that is Roblox's game library. It was a welcome sight to see a Roblox game not be bad, and I think this tangent was worth it just to prove that Mario isn't the only one who can nail a 3D platformer. Anyway, I have to get back to playing Mario games I'd never even considered playing until now, including The final stage is basically the moon, but there are no challenges. There are no challenges on the moon. It's just all rocks from here on out.